Welcome to this explainer. You know how some people just magically bounce back from total physical exhaustion instantly, while the rest of us, well, suffer? Today, we're decrypting the really fascinating clinical claims behind medical-grade IV therapy. We're drawing our insights directly from Prime IV Hydration and Wellness to see exactly how they tackle extreme recovery and cellular energy.
We've all been there, right? That absolutely brutal morning where your mouth is cotton ball dry, every single sound feels like a chainsaw, and you feel like you are paying a very real biological debt for the night before.
So it begs a really great question. Why do all our classic go-to remedies, the sports drinks, the gallons of water, the greasy breakfast, why do they fail so miserably when we're in this state of crisis? Why are we just left staring at the ceiling waiting for relief?
Well, it turns out a severe hangover isn't just a rough morning. It's actually a massive multi-system failure. Your liver is frantically processing alcohol into acetaldehyde, which is incredibly toxic. And that triggers this massive inflammatory storm in your body that's literally identical to a viral infection. Meanwhile, excess stomach acid is sending these huge nausea signals straight up to your brain. Your body gets so overwhelmed that it essentially just puts your digestive system on strike.
Part 1. Bypassing the bottleneck. The oral route versus the highway.
Okay, so when you just swallow a pill, you're actually creating a biological bottleneck known as the first pass effect. Think about the treacherous journey that remedy has to take. It has to somehow survive highly acidic stomach juices, navigate a super inflamed intestinal tract, and then get filtered by an overworked liver before it can even attempt to reach your bloodstream to actually help you out.
And get this is the shocking part. During that brutal first pass journey, up to 80% of a vitamin or medication's potency is completely lost. So by the time it finally makes it through your compromised system, you're left with just a tiny trickle of relief.
Part 2. The Resurrection IV Protocol. To completely bypass that digestive bottleneck, the clinic engineered what is essentially a break glass in case of emergency solution. It's a proprietary blend that attacks symptoms in tiers. You've got B-complex vitamins acting as cellular spark plugs, while glutathione comes in to mop up those toxins. But what's really fascinating are the pharmaceutical additions. They use Toradol to physically stop the swelling that's causing your headache, and Zofran to actively block your nervous system from telling your body to vomit.
And because IV delivery literally skips the gut entirely, the science points to 100% bioavailability. I mean, it's a straight shot right into circulation, instantly restoring your blood volume and delivering undiluted fuel directly to your cells.
This brings us to a pretty stark choice regarding how we recover. We've all heard the old folklore of the hair of the dog, having another drink to just numb the withdrawal. Well, physiologically, that's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It only delays the inevitable crash. IV therapy, on the other hand, provides actual metabolic resolution. It gives your body the exact tools it needs to flush the toxins and restore balance. But what happens once that acute crisis is actually over? The clinic's research pivots to a really fascinating question. What if we use this exact same direct delivery highway to combat chronic fatigue, support our immune systems, and actually fight biological aging?
Part 3. Beyond the hangover. The science of cellular energy.
All right, now we're shifting gears from an acute rescue mission to long-term optimization. If you've ever dealt with chronic fatigue, you know it isn't just about needing an extra hour of sleep. It's actually a microscopic issue. The mitochondria inside your cells are basically little engines that generate ATP, which is your body's primary energy currency. Over time, environmental stress and just natural aging damage these engines, and that's what leaves you with that persistent brain fog and lethargy.
Enter this absolutely crucial molecule called NAD+. You can think of it like a master catalyst. It's constantly transferring electrons back and forth during your metabolic processes. And without an abundant supply of NAD+, your cellular power plant simply cannot generate the ATP fuel required to keep your muscles contracting and your brain firing. But here's a pretty alarming statistic. Our natural reserves of NAD+ don't stay stable. In fact, they can drop by a massive 50% by the time we hit middle age. This severe decline is directly correlated with those physical slowdowns that we usually just, chalk up to getting older.
So how do we close that biological energy gap? Well, the clinic relies on a heavily researched compound called Niagen. The claim here is that when this specialized precursor is introduced into your system, your cells readily absorb it and convert it directly back into NAD+, which effectively restocks your cellular resources.
By regularly bypassing that gut bottleneck to deliver these specific compounds, the claim is that you're essentially turning back the biological clock on your cells. Elevating NAD+ supports these proteins called sirtuins, which regulate DNA repair. Plus, regular IV hydration flushes out metabolic waste and can be totally customized, so they can add extra vitamin C or zinc based entirely on your body's unique biochemistry.
It really all boils down to this one philosophy. Your body is a machine. If you're only putting oil in it when the engine literally starts smoking, well, you aren't doing it any favors. It's a fundamental mindset shift from just waiting for a massive system failure, like a debilitating hangover, to proactively maintaining the engine.
Which leaves us with a pretty compelling final thought. Knowing what we now know about the microscopic reality of cellular energy and the huge limitations of our own digestion, how efficiently is your internal machine really running? Are you just filling your body to barely survive the day? Or are you actually optimizing your cells to thrive?